Hello and welcome to Network. My name is Pumele Lezondi with your technology and social media news. It is SABC Network on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. News Network at sabc.co.za on email. This week, our Twitter poll is asking you about Eskom's plan as they aim to go with renewable energy. We're asking you if you think this is a good idea and if it will help with South Africa's technology problems. Results of that are coming up later in the program. Firstly, here's what's coming up this week. We have information on how technology brands are now partnering with lifestyle and fashion brands. Details on a stokvel app. And in our conversation, we chat about why some devices will no longer be supported by WhatsApp. Recently, Huawei launched their Nova 8 smartphone and they partnered with the fashion brand Batu for this one. It seems like these partnerships are becoming more and more common. You would often hear people saying a smartphone is merely just a smartphone nowadays, and so various brands have to think of interesting ways to make them attractive to consumers. Partnerships are the direction tech companies take. Think the new Huawei Nova 8. If I told you it's a 5G phone, you'd say that's not new because there are others out there. If I said it has a 64 megapixel camera, you might say, so what? So they've looked outside the phone industry for this one, and they're launching it as a fashion item, as Huawei has partnered with popular South African sneaker brand Batu.
We as Huawei spoke a lot about empowering and supporting local businesses, local entrepreneurs for a long time. How do we materialize that? How do we make it a reality? So we are very, very proud to announce our partnership with Batu. And Batu is the official fashion partner for Huawei Nova series. And as part of that partnership, we are collaborating to release a limited edition range of Huawei Nova Batu sneakers.
100 people who purchase the new phone will get a limited edition sneaker. Batu was founded by Alexandra Township native Theo Baloyi. He says the collaboration with Huawei is opening up to a whole new market.
This is an amazing collaboration, we as Batu, we are very intentional about our mission and our vision, and I think we couldn't have partnered with a better, tech company or a very innovative company like Huawei, which is going to allow us to tap into different markets, So there's a new series that is out, which is obviously the Nova series, and then we're also trying to communicate our brand promise as well through our products.
And urban culture leaders and enthusiasts seem to think this is a partnership that will work, as they believe the new device is a fashion item as well.
I feel like a phone is actually like a fashion thing because you can't carry a phone that doesn't go with the fashion sense. So like looking at it, so look at the colors of the phone and you look at the outfit, it all goes with the whole thing. So you gotta come with the whole design, the whole combo.
It's not just smartphone brands that are looking outside the world of technology and in urban culture with their partnerships. Telkom has partnered with Jukes, another tech company, for their Telkom music platform. But recently, they revealed that it was the place you could hear Big Zulu's new album, Ichwanele Nyoka, first.
So our partnership with Jukes was really along the journey of how do we as Telkom, as a brand, expand and speak to our consumer base. Very much a youth-focused market, and finding a proposition that would speak to where they're going. Having launched a video proposition, we've been in gaming for a number of years. Music was the best choice for us.
Yeah, we've been in the market for a couple of years now, as you know, with the product Jukes. We're excited to get deeper into it by offering another service as per this collaboration with Telkom, where we're starting to get deeper into this market, trying to solve for African problems, South African problems particularly, which is this issue around sort of data sensitivity and the sizes of phones.
Big Zulu says for him, technology partnerships have meant moving with the times. It was a Duduzane Zuma challenge that made his Maleningi one of the biggest songs of last year. It was a social media challenge.
Ngicabanga ukuthi ukukhula nokucabanga nokuvula umqondo uyabo ngumuntu othanda ukwenza izinto ngendlela yakhe kokunye uyabo so sithe masihlala phansi sicabanga siyipheka lento leyo ukuthi sizoyenza kanjani. Sayipheka sayibona noma niyavuthwa lento leyo ingenzeka, then safika sathi ayazini asiyenzeni abantu bazoyithanda.
Apart from telco music powered by Jukes, Big Zulu has partnered with a number of tech companies this year, and that includes smartphone brand itel. The trick with such partnerships is to have a relationship that benefits both parties and for all parties to be aligned with the markets they're trying to reach. Folks in the townships have used the stokvel as a method of saving money for a very long time now, but the stokvel is also now going digital with a new app.
For generations, community-driven stokvels have met the money needs of their members by opening access to funding for everything from funerals to school fees. Although the schemes provide regular paydays, they do not build wealth. It's a problem that required a new digital face and an entrepreneurial spirit. Now, Stokvel SA startup says they are digitizing traditional stokvels in order to boost savings and make them more transparent and convenient.
What tends to happen on our app is that typically, for example, let me touch on the franchise stokvel, is that it invests in franchises, it buys a franchise and runs a franchise, and because of that is able to give returns to its members. So what we find is that some of these stokvels say, look, we want to either do what you're doing, so mimic, which is great because the more we do this as people, the better, or we actually want to assist you with capital. We are burial stokvel, we've been running for 20 years and we have R500,000 rand, but actually it's just sitting in the bank. So can we offer to you franchise stokvel and you can give us a return?
Tepo says the key to the app's success has been digitally based options that ease the administrative burden of their traditional community-based schemes and offer business-focused investment options and benefits.
We quite offer the most important thing around stokvels, which is transparency, security and convenience. We've shown that being a stokvel does not necessarily mean you just have to stick to burial or stick to just grocery, and we've said it sticks mostly around investment. Yeah, look, I think multiple challenges around particularly the consumers in stokvels that are faced with in the township is around ownership, right? Ownership of what they consumed and where they live. I mean, if you think about it, most of these, perhaps as example, as malls, that the township people go and shop in. They don't own the actual mall itself, right? And the opportunities surrounding those malls are not given to them as first preferences.
The app went on to win the Best Financial Solutions section of the 2020 MTN Business App of the Year award and is now attracting a new generation of stokvel savers.
So as MTN, we have always reiterated that we believe that everyone deserves the benefits of a modern connected life. And this modern connected life manifests itself in multiple ways. But at the essence of all the ways that it manifests itself is the ability to digitally transform. And as MTN, we found that when we are sponsoring a platform like the App of the Year Awards, we are actually encouraging tech-savvy businesses to start new businesses for themselves.
Others say the app helps them to manage their investments.
This app is helping me for a lot because now there's no need to take taxi to go to town to deposit that money for stokvel. I'm using this app while I'm sitting at home.
It helps me not to go to the bank. It helps me not to carry money around. Use the app so that you can be safe without robbing people, taking your money in the streets. It's a safe app, it's free of charge, and use it wisely.
As a digital platform, the app also addresses a younger generation of savers and investors who are comfortable with the stokvel traditions but want to accumulate funds and build future wealth.
A lot of people, when they think about stokvels, they think of the elderly, right? Most of them using the stokvels. But if you look at the latest saving monitor by one of the biggest financial institution, financial service providers in this country, Old Mutual, it actually shows that stokvels are common across all age group. In fact, their recent output data shows that 81% of people that use stokvels are actually in the age between 18 to 29 years old.
MTN says the app demonstrates what has made the MTN Business App of the Year award a developmental tool that has helped shape the way that thousands of South Africans get information and invest.
The opportunity for them is that a lot of times you find that there are developers who have great solutions, but they don't have the right access to markets. And as MTN, what we're doing with them is that we are creating the opportunity. One, they might partner with MTN in co-developing solutions, or MTN might open doors to our universe of clients where the app developer now has access into getting the ear and presence at the right corporate tables.
Stokvel is an online savings account enabling traditional savings clubs to manage their administration, monthly payments, and claims by using devices such as mobile phones or tablets.
For a very long while, we've been talking about a shortage of women in the technology sector. But it seems like that there is less worry now as women are more visible now in the tech sector.
Locktransy is an app that helps parents locate the whereabouts of their children. A mother, desperate to find her daughter who hadn't made it home on time from school, felt it necessary to develop a scholar transport application for hers and others' peace of mind.
So my app is about scholar transport app, whereby it manages the kids when they leave home as well as when they get to school. So how it manages them is that the transport driver will interact with the app when they pick up the kids, and as soon as they mark the kids in, like on a register sort of, the parent will get a notification to say that my child has been picked up. The app was created in 2019 after I could not locate my own child, and I was trying to call the transport driver and she was not picking up her phone, and obviously as a mother you panic. And then I drove home so that I can go to school and check where my child is, because it was the first year at high school.
Murabi is one of the female entrants at this year's MTN App of the Year Awards. According to the telecoms company, the annual competition saw a 30% increase in women entries this year. Among the innovative female contributors like Murabi is Lindy Engelbrecht, who felt the need to develop a digital solution for the recruitment industry.
So Digger is an online employment marketplace where we connect millions of job seekers to jobs in Africa. Our mission from day one as an organization and as a founding team was to impact the world for the better for millions of people, one job at a time.
MTN says the increase in number of female innovators is impressive, as this is a first in over 10 years of the App Awards competition. Could this mean that women have now built courage to take up space and become visible within the male-dominated field that is technology?
There is more openness towards women entering the tech space. So I think it's never been something about ability. It's always been about whether women and girls have been targeted for entering things like development and coding and that type of thing. I know personally, I went to an all-girls school and we were taught things like baking and not coding at all. And even though I was personally interested in those types of things as a girl, I was never given that kind of opportunity, whereas my partner, who's just 1 year younger than me, had all those opportunities at his school as an all-boys school.
Though it's taking longer than it's supposed to, women are steadily becoming game changers in this fourth industrial revolution.
It is the SABC Network on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. News Network at sabc.co.za on email. After the break, we have a conversation with Hadley Simons from Android Authority about WhatsApp plan to pull out of the older smartphone devices. It is the SABC Network on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Welcome back. Now, it's been announced that WhatsApp will be discontinued on some devices. And if you are a user of those devices, then you perhaps cannot chat with your friends and family any longer. Now, Hedley Simons from Android Authority is here to discuss this with us. Hello, and thank you very much for being a part of our network, Hedley. Maybe if you can start by telling us why this is happening.
One of the biggest reasons I can think of for why WhatsApp would want to do something like this is simply for security. Older versions of Android and iOS do have more security flaws, generally speaking. And the last thing, a company like WhatsApp wants is for user data to be, hacked in this manner via flaws in older versions of software, Another reason is also resources. Much older versions of Android and iOS, there aren't many people using these versions. So, why? I think the thinking is why would we need on WhatsApp side is why would we need to devote this, resources to, maybe 1% of users or 0.5% of users or whatever the case may be. And then another reason for support for older versions to be dropped is simply for features. Newer features are coming to WhatsApp all the time, and this often requires newer versions of smartphone software.
And which devices are these?
These are devices running Android 4.0 and iOS 9. So, if you've got devices running that software or earlier, you will be affected by this, and so you will need to upgrade soon probably.
And how would one know which version of the operating system of the device they're using is and which version it is, and whether this one is still supported by WhatsApp?
The easiest way to check is to visit the settings page on your phone and then look for the about or the about phone section. You'll find the version listed here.
Hedley, do you think there's a way around this?
I'm not 100% sure if Facebook could have found a way around this because, like I said, new features are coming out all the time, and they often require newer versions of Android to support those features in the first place. And I think it's also a reality for other third-party app developers that they do drop support for much older devices, because it also boils down to resources, especially for smaller companies. They have to kind of balance support for legacy devices with newer devices, and they kind of have to weigh up, financially speaking. Do we devote our resources to much older versions of Android only used by 500 people or whatever, or do we support the newest version? So there is that kind of balance that needs to be taken into account.
All right, Hedley Simons from Android Authority, thank you very much for being a part of our network. With that, let's take a quick break. It is the SABC Network on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. News Network at sabc.co.za. On email, welcome back. Here's what else took place in the rest of the world in the tech space.
This is not your typical classroom. 3 times a week, these students gather in their teacher's garden in Uganda's capital, Kampala, to learn how to code. Just before lockdown forced schools to shut down in the East African nation, Shawin Mwanasi, a mother of 2, started the Supersonic Aviators Club. Her aim is to train the next generation of Ugandan coders. Mwanaisi used her own savings to start the club, which mainly caters to underprivileged children who don't have access to equipment and internet. The classes are free of charge, and here, children as young as 6 can learn the fundamentals of coding. Mwanaisi was inspired to take up coding 3 years ago when her 7-year-old son expressed interest in aviation and coding. Despite the challenges of ongoing lockdowns and restrictions due to the pandemic, Mwanaisi finds ways to keep the classes going and the children engaged and active especially when schools are closed. The club has slowly garnered attention, mainly through word of mouth, and currently has around 25 children from the age of 6 to late teens. Along with coding, the initiative also helps children develop their interest in aviation, astronomy, and STEM. Mwanaisi has enlisted the services of her friend, engineer, and inventor Innocent Mugabe, who happened to have recently built his own aircraft. He helps the students learn about aircraft parts and aviation vocabulary. They also regularly watch documentaries about aviation and space exploration. While it remains unclear how long Uganda's strict COVID lockdown will last, Charmaine has also taken the club's initiative online, with classes offered to anyone interested in coding. Mercedes-Benz is trying to make its steel fossil fuel free. It's trying up with Swedish steel maker SABC in a bid to reduce the climate impact of the metals used in car making. SABC said that it aims to supply prototype parts for body shells next year. It plans to replace the coking coal traditionally needed for iron ore-based steel making with electricity and hydrogen. That's using the so-called hybrid system or hydrogen breakthrough iron making technology, a green steel venture owned by SABC with Swedish state-owned utility Vattenfall and Swedish miner LKAB. The aim is to supply the market with fossil-free steel at a commercial scale in 2026. Mercedes-Benz expects its cars to be carbon neutral by 2039. SABC also partnered with Volvo in June to explore developing fossil-free steel for vehicles.
Now, Eskom has announced that they're exploring wind and solar. And our Twitter poll this week is asking you if you think this will solve South Africa's energy problems. Now, 38% of you say yes. There's a further 36% of you who say no. And at 25% are those of you who aren't sure about this. And that's it. That's all we have for you. Find us on SABC Network on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. It's News Network at sabc.co.za on email. From me, it's Pumela Zondi and the rest of the team right here in Umhlanga. Have a good one.
Thank you.